Alright, so with Coyote versus Acme, and which is something that us the fans, have been like frustrated about ever since Warner Brothers Discovery and David Zaslav canceled, and this has been an emotional roller coaster from update after update. If we're ever going to see the light of day, and there's so much more. But now I think we are starting to see the light of day, as if a spokesperson from Warner Brothers Discovery has spoken up and telling us that Coyote vs Acme might actually be released after all. And so that's what I'm doing for you guys in this video, is breaking it down, and also they're going to actually release this movie out to the audience, either it's in theaters, on streaming, and so much more. And so if you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future vids. But now let's top into it. And now, to sort of catch you all up to speed of all this, and how this happened with the movie being canceled, and with this being an emotional roller coaster, and it started back in November of 2023 when Warner Brothers Discovery canceled Coyote vs Acme. It's a new live-action Looney Tunes movie, and they shelved it for tax purposes to save $30 million. And then after that, they were going to sell this movie to buyers, possibly streaming services, including for Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Paramount Plus, and there's so much more. I mean, you name it, any streaming services, and they were going to offer less to the streaming service. They were going to sell their movie to someone else and have it put up on their platform. I think there was some rumor that they were going to release it on Prime Video. That was just a rumor somewhere, but it's no longer the case. And even with Coyote versus Acme, and it's been a trend, especially on social media. Even that it was using the hashtag release Coyote versus Acme, and even with David Zaslav himself, who has said that he's never actually seen the movie, and even though they're going to delete it anyways, but even with people that worked hard on this, especially with Coyote versus Acme, and this is a part of the Looney Tunes cartoon with Wile E. Coyote that sues the Acme Corporation that sells them faulty products, and never goes his way, so I actually sues it. And even with Will Forte was going to be in this movie, John Cena, who was actually going to be one of the main leads in the movie, and even though the plot and also with the layout and its set pieces looked really interesting, and I was looking forward to see it myself, but even though Warner Brothers wanted this to be deleted forever. And on top of all this, with the Warner Brothers Discovery that was shopping the movie around to another studio and other buyers, even to streaming services as well. And even if this movie would have ended up in theaters or on streaming, at least people would have gotten the credit for this movie. And I can tell, I mean, these people put hard hours into this movie, and even with the VFX and the animation style. I mean, and this is a live-action Looney Tunes movie, and I don't know if it's possible if we're ever going to see it, especially with the Warner Brothers that was not going to be the one to distribute the film. But I mean, I would have loved to see it. But now with this new report, it's coming from the New York Times. It's coming from a spokesperson over at Warner Brothers, and they said with the shelving of Coyote versus Acme, they canceled the movie for tax purposes to save $30 million. It was inaccurate, and even a confirmation has not been made from a WB or even though with the fate of this movie, and that just goes to show that this movie may finally be released, but we're not sure. But I would love to see a Coyote versus Acme, and I guess especially with all the other ones. But even though I would love to see it, even though with people that don't want to see the movie now, or will never see the light of day, but I'm still thinking that they could release this movie after all. Even though that this has all been an emotional roller coaster with the Warner Brothers, and that might just be the worst managed studio in Hollywood, even for them just to shelve finished movies for tax purposes. And this is with a Coyote versus Acme. This is a live-action Looney Tunes movie, and even with everything else that has been going on, especially behind the scenes with David Zaslav, and there's just so much more. But even though that this movie might get released to the general public, and if this ends up on streaming, which I'm totally fine with, but even if this were to get a theatrical release, and even while the Looney Tunes fans out there will even show up to the theaters at day one and buy a ticket, I mean, I don't know this will flop at the box office, but I'm pretty sure if it'll do great numbers on streaming, this is like aimed towards kids or like adults as well. I mean, of course, it's a Looney Tunes. I want to grow up with that. But even though with this movie, I'm looking forward to it myself if it ever gets released. But even though it's a fully finished movie, but this might get released, and if it does, I mean, we'll all be here celebrating. And even with Coyote Vs Acme, and even if it does get released or somehow it gets like unshelved and like they can like sell the movie around or some other studio can buy it, and like that means that they had to get the marketing going with the trailer and what the film's about, and even though all the people can get credit for it, and that's something that I would really like to see. I would really like to see some piece of marketing if this movie ever it exists, like I mean at the end of the day. But I mean, this is just Warner Brothers, like they've done some pretty like some odd and shady stuff. But I think if it does get released, I'd be fine with that. But I don't know if it's like official, but let's wait and see. And like even though that this film had test screenings, and even people in Hollywood that were able to see this movie and they were praising it and said that they liked it and they loved it and they thought it was great. It was so heartwarming, especially for a live action Looney Tunes movie like this. I would have loved to see it. But even with the Warner Brothers' decision to even shelve this movie to save like a lot of money, I think this was pretty dumb on them. And so my final thoughts is I'm glad that we got this update, and Coyote Vs Acme might get released after all, but let's wait for an official confirmation from WB Discovery themselves, and even with David Zaslav, because they've done some pretty awful stuff with like canceling projects, especially with finished movies, and even people that wanted to work out Warner Brothers and to make a movie with them and to even cancel it. But even with Coyote Vs Acme, that has been an emotional roller coaster ever since it was shelved for tax purposes. But I think we'll definitely see the light of day in this movie ends up actually existing in this lifetime, but we'll have to wait and see on that as well. And so that is going to be it for this video. And just let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, and what your thoughts on this update, and what would you like to see Coyote vs Acme if this ever actually it exists in this lifetime. And just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications about future videos. And also follow all my social medias, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.